So, Tallulah, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, Samesh. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Great, thanks.
Good.
So, here you're bringing out a new track.
Yep.
It's called Be Free,
It's called Be Free. Yeah.
and it's amazing. It sounds really good. Be free, oh, free. It's very like uplifting, isn't it? Like
Thanks.
sing along. It's
Yeah, it's a
really
good kind of
nice.
it's a good counterbalance, I guess, to the message of the song, which is quite kind of strong in a way. That's like one of the reviews came back as like it's like a what was it? Something about the fact that it's a really uplifting song with quite a strong message in it.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
So give us what's the history of your song? How
So
did
the
you write it?
song I wrote it in lockdown, beginning of lockdown when um my dad was really sick. He got COVID right at the beginning of lockdown and was in hospital for like weeks and weeks in intensive care. And I was kind of in this extraordinary experience of my dad was really sick. It was March. We were just going into lockdown. And there was this sense of kind of separation in my community. There was a sense of some people kind of being pro-vax, other people being anti-vax, some people being really confused. But what was happening was this division, and like people that I loved dearly suddenly wouldn't be in the same space as me, or people like would there was suddenly like this whole kind of thing, and suddenly it became really divided, and it just felt like um ironically that division just felt like another form of control to
Mm,
me,
mm,
and actually where I went with it was this kind of this prayer that actually just come together. So I'll just take my thingy off. Let's just come together and unite our voices. And that there's this opportunity for us to actually really change the way that we're living, the way that we're relating to not only ourselves, but each other and the planet. And that's going to require some work. That's going to require leaning into some discomfort and having some difficult conversations and really looking at our shadows. And this song kind of evolved from that kind of internal process. And this, one of the lyrics is, the lyrics of the chorus are, be free from the shackles of our mind, be free from the shackles of our time, and breathe this new world into life, or into light. And really, this invitation to acknowledge how much we have. We have so much, yeah. So here we go. Over the understays of summer as we stand together, but oh so far apart. My mother's eyes are tired and my father's wheezing as a daughter or son cries for the love in their heart. That was just like I couldn't get to I didn't see my dad for the entire time he was in hospital. Couldn't see him.
mm.
And then there's things we join our voices far and wide with a prayer that we can change. We can join our voices far and wide, feel the beauty of these days. I mean, it was such an amazing time in the same breath. Suddenly we stopped and there was spaciousness and it was beautiful and the sun was shining. It was this amazing time in the same breath as like all this kind of hardness happening.
Mm.
And then this next part with what to do with all these hours, are we all parents just trying to find ways to reassure the child within and without that it's okay when fears so they tremble up from inside. So that felt like there was so much anxiety in the field, like, and so much uncertainty, and that we were all kind of just having to really parent ourselves, and really own there was such an increase in mental health issues. There was such, domestic violence, drug abuse. It just kind of, it was extreme,
Mm.
and I felt really fortunate in that even though I was going through this horrendous experience with my dad being sick, and my dad eventually died of COVID, so I witnessed this
Sorry to hear that.
brutal, thank you, brutal journey with him over the years, and but in the same breath, like for me, what held me strong was that, I'm really fortunate in that I have a really embedded practice with qigong and meditation, and one of my teachers was holding these loving kindness meditations every day during lockdown. So every morning at 10 in the morning our sangha would sit, and it was a prayer for loving kindness. That was it. It was just kind of getting rid of all the politics of everything that was going on and ignoring all the conspiracy theories or people thinking this or people thinking that. The practice was just sit on the mat and tune into love, like care of yourself, sending that love out into the world to anyone that was sick, anyone who was struggling, like celebrating the planet. And that became like my benchmark for the next, I mean, it still is. And it was before, but that was my kind of like saving grace, really, in a time which really could have been
Mm,
so like it's even more conflicting than it was. And this whole album was really born out of that journey. And so this is one of the first songs that kind of led into the I Am Enough tracks and Be a Little Kinder, you know, the other
mm.
songs that you know. And so yeah, that's Be Free.
Wow. Wow. So although I had like an uplifting feel from it, there's quite a deep, the lyrics are quite deep. They're very
Yeah.
profound, It was
Mm,
coming from a deep space.
mm,
So,
yeah.
and how is the whole release going? How's
How's it
it
going?
going?
It feels good. It feels like I'm in a rhythm now with it. This is my fourth release from this album.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been following the, the one song away approach that I learned with you, which was amazing. And then I'm releasing the music through CD Baby. And so there's like a kind of process that it's just like a little formula that I'm ticking along with. And it feels really nice to be able to lean into that as an artist. Just be like, okay, I know that I have to do this, 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 and this. But then outside of that, I can relax a little bit.
Mm, mm,
What is giving that what that's giving to me is like my creative expression is able to kind of breathe and feel more fluid. And I was reflecting on, since I started doing these releases every 6 to 8 weeks, there's been like this, and it hasn't been like fireworks of like wow, my stats have gone up, boom. But what has happened is this very steady, very stable increase of my work as an artist being filtered out into the world. And the biggest thing, as I was sharing with you the other day, is that actually now I've been signed to a a booking agency, which is the first time since before COVID. I've got a new
wow.
manager. I've got a new assistant. There's like a coterie. There's a team of people that have come on board because of the energy that is galvanized around these releases. So it feels like it feels amazing. And whilst I can't say that, oh yeah, there's 10 million new listens on Spotify or this is happening, like there's been a really marked shift in my world as an artist. And so much so that when I was at an Earth Festival last weekend and I did my show, and um, there was a guy there called Mark Moreau who used to be head of Island Records, who I'd met right at the beginning of my career, and we'd had all these meetings, and he was interested in signing me as an artist, not to Island, but we were talking about management because he'd left Island and was doing management, and he was managing, he managed PJ Harvey, he managed Nine Inch Nails, Spiritualized. I mean, he looked after Bob Marley, U2, when there was, like a whole host of enormous artists. And I was really young and arrogant and probably still am immature and arrogant,
You
definitely
never
young. But basically, and I had a track called Black Seagull, and he was like, "That's a great track. That would be a killer hit record. You need to change the arrangement." And I was just like, "No way!" That I love. It's an 8 minute track, and it's like a prog rock track, and I was just too stubborn, and so we never ended up working together. And then I saw that he was unearthed, and I sent him a message, and he was like, "Wow, amazing to hear from you." And he came to the show and cried through "I Am Enough," and afterwards was just like, "That was amazing," and
Wow.
spent the evening hanging out with me. And the next day, he was talking on the main stage, and um, we had a cup of tea beforehand, and then walked with him there. And he was giving his talk, and Tim was asking him all about his career in music and what it was like to work with all these artists. And his last question was, "What is the advice that you would give to any upcoming artist?" And he just went, "Well, the best person to give that advice is sitting in the audience over there, and her name's Tallulah Rendall. And what I've witnessed in her is perseverance." And then just went on to kind of celebrate me as an artist, which from someone, um, of that level
Mm.
in the industry on the one hand, but also it's not like he just signed cool artists. They were like my favorite artists, you know. So for him to acknowledge me and to be celebrating my music now, and also to be part of this dialogue as of support, and feels like, oh wow, that perseverance is paying off. And so whatever happens now, I know that I have done like all I can as an artist, as an independent artist, to stay with my integrity and do my best to get my music out into the world.
Fantastic. Well, that's a massive win, isn't it? So
Really big win. Yeah.
you're booked with a booking agent. So what's that? What does a booking agent do, and how's that going to help
So,
you?
yeah, so I'm signed to Runway Artists now, and Hev, who's my agent there, is awesome, and she really gets the whole well-being side of my work as well. And that was one of the things that really drew her, because it wasn't just straight. I'm not just a singer-songwriter with a guitar. I have a kind of mission, and I'm a
Mm,
facilitator, and I'm a qigong teacher, and I'm a sound therapist, and I do a whole bunch of stuff. And so
mm,
from an agency perspective, that's quite appealing, because when you're booking for festivals, you can book me for a headline slot somewhere, but then you can also book me to run a workshop somewhere. So there's like double revenue for them.
mm,
So what Hev's doing for me currently is she's sorting a tour for November and the spring, and that's going to be focused around theatres or theatre-esque spaces, and we're in the process of doing an Arts Council funding bid so that we can really, there's a kind of vision of this show, which you will have seen the kind of the bare bones of that vision
mm.
when we were touring the last few times. But I've got a very clear vision of how I want to do that, and so so her role is finding the venues, getting the promoters on board, and like doing all of that stuff that I was doing before, or you were doing before, or like,
Yeah, it's amazing.
yeah. So that's what Runway, and then the other role for Runway is to sort me with support tours, and just basically kind of getting my name out. It's basically having someone that's going to go, this artist is awesome, and I rate her, and I'm part of this agency that also rates her. So suddenly there's kind of kudos, rather than me with my little kind of flag in the field going, hi, I want to come and play, listen to my music. And it's like there's a kind of thing of like, until you have a level of support, it's hard for people to take artists seriously, to be
Yeah,
honest. Or
is this agency Runway Artists?
yeah, drum artist. Yeah, so it's almost like kind of, it's she can go in there and be like, this is the fee, rather than me going, well, are you going to pay me? Will you pay me? It's like, this is the fee. This is, in the same way that, you know, Nick Mulvey or the Yawanawa, or like whoever it is, Cat Burns will come in and they'll be, this is my fee.
Wonderful. That's amazing.
It's just much easier when you've got that, rather than me trying to, yeah.
So obviously that's a big hit, because not only, is it really difficult to do all that stuff yourself, like setting up the tours, getting them all, doing all the work, doing all the admin, doing all the booking. So that takes it off your shoulders. But obviously at the stage, these people have or she has like connections,
Hmm.
do the Arts Council funding. That's huge. Well done. Congratulations. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
thanks,
So
Helen.
happy for you.
I know that you'll really appreciate that, because you've seen how hard I work and what.
So hard. It's such a, yeah, it's a difficult thing to do by yourself. You need a team.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, is like when you start off as an artist, I guess, you start off with you younger, like Lucy Wilde, she's just coming out of like music school, and then, she's building up, doing her own like promotion and stuff like that. Um, but still, like how do you, like at the beginning stages, how do you really like earn a living as a musician? And to actually bring in enough income, you have to be working like, it's almost like 24 hours a day, promoting, gigging, organizing,
Yeah.
all the things that come with running a business, plus
Mm,
you are the product.
mm.
and promoting the product, and getting your stuff out there. So the next stage is obviously like building a team
Mm.
who can support you and do those things, where you actually become like a official business, where you have people that
Yeah.
are supporting you. So I think this is the thing, is like, taking those one steps at a time, where I think you find other teams that you can slot into, like this lady, this artist management. She
Hmm.
she has a team that she's already established, so
Hmm.
she can maximize her, efficiency and effectiveness, because she can take on artists and just plug into her system,
Yeah.
and take really take you with her.
Yeah.
Um, and then I guess eventually, as you grow to certain levels, I guess the next stage is having your own team, your own PR person, at that stage, wherever that stage is.
Well, that's like, so we've got someone in mind for that, that who, once we've got, um, once we've kind of got this tour in place, then there's someone that we want to bring on board for the PR side of stuff, and hopefully that will get funded through the Arts Council bid to do it. That's the kind of part of the plan.
Yeah, because I think the Arts Council, obviously, that gives you like, if you can plug into the Council funding, obviously the finances make a huge impact on what you can do, what you can't do. If
Yeah,
you're funding it all yourself, there's a lot of stress involved, isn't it? It's a
yeah,
lot harder. And the Arts Council, it seems to, they've got the money available, so you might as well access it.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Arts
So
Council,
you,
Help for Music, or PRS. There's quite a few kind of interesting paths for anyone that's watching this. If you're interested in funding, then check out those platforms.
yeah. So what else is there? There's the Arts
Help for
Council,
Music. It's Arts Council, Help for Music, and PRS are the three that I know of.
where you can actually, ask for funding, and
Yeah,
that's specifically
and
for
it
tours, or to fund like the creation of albums.
can be a whole different range of things. Yeah,
Mm, yeah, cool. So
yeah.
you have your artist management, who's going to book your gigs and do that type of thing. You said you had a manager as well.
Yeah, so a guy called Neil who is awesome. Neil was involved in um, the Lost Words project, the Blessing song. I don't know if you know that. It's such a beautiful record.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, he's been in the industry for a long time. He's a seasoned professional manager and is great. And it's fantastic having his level of experience and to be able. So one of the things, so it was through Runway that I met Neil, because Neil's
Mm.
involved with another artist on Runway, and Hev thought
Mm-hmm.
that we would be a really good match.
Mm-hmm.
And we met, and we were a great match. And so, his experience, for example, is because he's been in the industry for such a long time and has worked with different artists. When Hev's going, "Oh, I want to work with that promoter in that venue," he's like, "Oh, I know him really well when I work with him on this thing." So they can
Mm.
be. So then Neil can follow that up. Or a big thing for me is publishing. So I've got over 70 tracks that have been released out into the world. I mean, like, what royalties I'm seeing on those is just minimal. Like, some of those tracks have been synced. There's a track that was synced with a film called Truth or Dare, which was #1 in the iTunes horror charts. I've never seen any royalties from that.
Mm.
Black Seagull, ironically, the track that Mark was like getting me to do an arrangement for, change the arrangement for, was synced with the Christian Lion footage on YouTube, and that's had over 1.5 million views. I've never had anything come back from that. So
Wow.
Mark, so Neil's now, right, okay, we're getting your catalog together. Let's find the right publisher right agent to kind of be tracking down all your revenue, because you should be earning £1,000 a month easily, if not more, from your revenue that's out in the, like, these tracks that are out in the world that are being streamed here and all these different platforms. And then also having someone that's actively pitching them for sync, so actively looking for placement in commercials or films. But that person really needs to know your catalog. So that's something that's kind of Neil's mission at the moment,
Mm.
for example. And that's what he can do, because he knows loads of people, loads of publishers, and he's like, "Oh, I know the perfect person for your music."
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know those people.
That's amazing. So the manager is like dealing with the legalities, dealing with your sync, dealing with your publishing,
Yeah.
all that type of thing. What's your sort of sort of financial arrangement with him? Does he take a percentage of your income or?
So historically, that's what would happen,
Mm,
and we're still trying to work out whether, like, how it's going to work, and whether, because at the moment it's like, 10% of nothing is 10% nothing. It's like
yeah,
there's nothing kind of to warrant his. There's nothing that's coming in that's good enough or isn't enough for it to pay him. So,
yeah.
is that also that goes part into the Arts Council funding as well? So we're kind of looking at these different things, but in this moment, it's for him, it's like a passion project. As much as he believes in me, he really wants to be part of it.
Mm. How did
Uh,
you meet you meet him through the artist sort of
Through the booking agency, yeah.
yeah, the booking agency. But says you do you envisage a lot of work coming from besides the booking agent actually setting up gigs for you in terms of like a tour, which will be amazing. So you don't have to worry about that whole thing. Do they get other gigs for you? Do like people approach them for artists and look at their roster?
Yeah, exactly.
So that could mean like gigs in bigger festivals, like the
Yeah,
bigger.
yeah. So, part of all the conversations having this year is kind of lining up for next year
Mm,
festivals and support tours, and Neil does a lot of stuff out in Canada and works with lots of artists there that he could get me easily on a support with. So that's like, okay, great. I'm really up for going to Canada and gigging.
amazing,
So,
amazing.
mm, mm. So that, to kind of cycle back to your original question, like, how is the release going? I feel like it's going well because there's momentum.
Mm,
And there's, the whole thing around the release is this steady stream, steady stream of content, basically. And that's what it is. There's a steady stream of content that's coming out.
mm.
That's
What's
Yeah.
what's been your sort of strategy, like your strategy around the release?
Oh, that's interesting. That's Why is that up there twice? Um, I'm just going to take that down. What has been my strategy around the release?
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, this is you should pin this one, I guess, huh?
yeah,
25.
that's good. So,
Yeah.
so this is something that happens when you uh, like sync things on one platform. Sometimes they then sync to another platform. So let's just remove that. So it's not happening twice. Um, there we go. What was the question? What's my strategy? So my
Yeah.
strategy
What's your
is,
overall? Have you been following? I think the One Song Away sort of that thing gives you like a framework to work from, doesn't it? So to
yes,
understand at which stage you're at, and it makes it clear, it gives you some clarity around, what to do next, and so you wake up in the morning, you sort of got some clarity around what the plan is, eh?
yeah, exactly. And there's like a certain, I make sure there's a lyrics video, for example. I make sure there's a performance video. I make sure I'm talking about the track. I make sure that um, there's a kind of continual content around it, but there's like the kind of like these things, the 24 hours to go or a week to go, or like those standard things. But then around that, like if you refresh the page, okay, that should, again, scroll down. So for example, there's the picture
There's
of me
one
in the
week to go.
it was a
Yeah.
week ago, but above that, like in between that, if you go up, it's okay. Like, so there was a couple of other posts that they're not relevant about the single, but it's just me as an artist and keeping
Mm.
it going. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
there's the picture of the cabin, which is actually like a little clip and talks about the writing of the track a little bit, and it's a little clip of the music. So I'm trying to kind of intersperse. So it's not every day just talking about the single. It's it's still keeping my all the other things that I'm going ticking over.
Yeah. And how like planned out are you? How planned have you like when you start your release, do you plan everything else or you're sort of just going how it feels?
So I plan out um, there's the kind of, I think we have 6 images, which are the announcing that it's happening. So that,
Mm.
also, if you go up one, sorry, go up a bit, you'll see there's the new single release. There's one of those.
Okay.
Then there's a 2 weeks to go one. Um, and then there's a 1 week to go on, then there's 24 hours, and then there's out now. So those are the
Okay.
four kind of like that we do in advance.
So this was done on June the 16th, so relatively about 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And like what platform are you finding the most the best platform at the moment for your music?
Um, I well, I like Instagram the most because I love imagery, you know. Um, and I find that Facebook, the algorithms just kind of block stuff. So, I mean, I think I get the most engagement on Instagram, but
Yeah.
I basically post the same thing across the board on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn every day.
Okay. And when you post to Facebook to Instagram, it automatically posts to your Facebook, is that correct?
It does, but I've actually on some of things taken that off
Yeah.
because it doesn't, people just never see it.
Okay. So
Actually,
the
Facebook, you
automatic
actually
posting doesn't work sometimes.
no.
Okay.
And the other thing to say is, I the other place of funding that I've got funding from is Access for Work. So I am pretty dyslexic and dyspraxic. Dyspraxic means I just walk into things and have kind of crazy ass spatial awareness, which is interesting for a dancer performer.
Mm.
But I got funding for a digital assistant. So I now have someone that works 6 hours a week that's funded for me who
Wow.
creates
And what do they do?
she creates this artwork.
Wow, they're really nice. It's really, really well done.
Yeah, so she'll create the kind of like stock artwork and then I kind of free flow if I suddenly decide that I'm gonna um for example, like this, I've got an event this evening which I'm
Mm.
doing soaps, and that's just a collection of different images that are from like, and Soph's leading a dance, and that's just like, so there's like a more kind of ad hoc kind of approach as well. So it
Mm.
keeps it
Mm.
really personal amidst the kind of professional part
Mm.
that Ro does.
Fantastic. So, yeah, so yeah, you're using mainly Instagram, I guess.
Well, I'm using all of them,
Yeah,
but the most conversations come on Instagram for me.
yeah. What's your email list like? Are you growing your email list?
Yeah, I mean, part of the Spotify campaign also means that there's kind of new emails coming in, and I have, um, whenever I do an event, um, but I think there's kind of, I think at the moment there's still only around 3,000 people, I would say.
Well, that's
And
pretty good. What's your click-through rate and your open rate?
open rate is on average, I was looking yesterday, it's like 36%, which
Well,
is
that's
pretty
really
good.
good. That's great.
Uh, which is pretty good.
Yeah,
And yeah,
cool. That's amazing. Let's just take a look. I just want to look at your Spotify.
yeah,
Let's see.
there. You can just click
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
So those are all the most recent singles. Well,
Yeah.
no, I'm Enough, Gayatri. So interesting. The Divine Feminine and the Heart Sutra.
Yeah.
High listeners. And they're the ones that have got the most playlisted on yoga and well-being stuff.
Yeah.
Much harder to get. It's much harder getting tracks playlisted. When I say tracks, songs, like all my meditation stuff is easy to play. It's much easier to pitch to playlists because everyone wants hours and hours of background kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Right. You got to think about like where is like what are people going to be doing with this song? Like, are they going to be singing it together in a group?
Mm.
And I think that's where I think it's difficult for artists, like really, in this sort of genre, because especially medicine, like spiritual music, if you're in that sort of genre, um, people, I guess, like you got to think of like what, where are they using your music? And they're either like using it to chill out, like background music or something like that. And then sometimes some of the songs don't work, or they're using it for like singing circles, or they're using it in ceremonial sort of formats. Be
Mhm.
interesting to find out, like where are people actually using the song, you know?
Mm.
And I guess you can find that out from the playlist. Like, okay, so the person's got a playlist, maybe it's a themed playlist, maybe it's a relaxation playlist. So you'll get an idea of where, you know, where people are connecting and how they're actually using your music.
Well, I can see that on the back end of Spotify that, there's a lot that's on relaxation,
Mm,
on, you know, and, but I Am Enough, interestingly, that's becoming a real circle song that actually I ended up um,
And heart rate monitoring.
getting
This
involved
fitness
with
tracker won first place.
Wider Horizon
yeah.
because they were holding a retreat at Wazing,
Hmm.
and someone brought that song, and it became like the theme of their weekend. And
Mm,
then they reached out to me and asked me to come and be part of an event that they were doing, and um, yeah, it's kind of beautiful how that song is finding its way. I mean, the one thing that I'd say that I'm really low on
mm,
is really good videos for this album, and that's something that I don't use TikTok before you even start going that way.
mm, mm.
I just couldn't get my head around TikTok. Um, so that's the thing for me that I'm like, okay, just to get some nice videos for these tracks. Basically, all the stuff I have at the moment is kind of footage from tours or live clips, basically. Yeah.
Mm, mm.
Getting some like a professional music video done would be really cool.
Yeah, what about lyric video? Have you done a lyric video?
Yeah, so I do lyric videos for every song. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because are you putting them through? Because you know, shorts in terms of like video footage, shorts are just where it's at the moment. Um, you know, I think Sunny seems to be doing really well in the shorts
Really?
aspect.
YouTube.
Sorry.
On YouTube specifically.
YouTube, Facebook,
Mm.
Instagram. It's all about shorts. It's all about 30-second clips,
Mm. Yeah.
you know, and video stuff.
Yeah.
So I'd really like, yeah, I'd really urge you to do
Mm.
more of that type of thing.
Yeah.
Um, and so like, what is really working in terms of this release? What like, have you getting some stats back? What is sort of working? Is it like the emails? Is it, Instagram? And how are you monitoring the results that you're getting?
So I I don't feel the Spotify pre-save thing is really working now for me. Like when I
Mm,
first started doing it, I'd have hundreds of people sign up to it, and that
yeah.
was because that was going to my mailing list or my my platforms. But it's not. I think I think I've reached. So at the moment now, I think on Be Free, it might only be on 40 or 50 signups.
Uh-huh.
Because though there hasn't been like an exponential rise in followers, if that
Hmm.
makes
Hmm.
sense.
Hmm.
Um, so, and some people write back to me and say, "Oh, is there something for Apple Music? Is there a pre-save for Apple Music? Or like, is there, I just don't use Spotify."
Mm,
Um, so I don't feel like as I said, like I feel like everything's going up incrementally,
hmm. Hmm.
and not the big impact has been is the team has gone, I want to work with this artist.
Mm, mm. So in terms of like your plan, your strategy,
Mm.
you've been sharing it on your socials. You've been sending out your email address. Have you been doing any ads? Have you been running any ads at all?
Yeah, so I just just I did one ad yesterday, and I'll do an ad for once it's out. Then I'll kind of start pushing it more with the ads.
Yeah. So I
then
think you've done a great job up until now, like in terms of getting it out there, in terms of like, you know, making yourself aware. I think also definitely like the WhatsApp groups, like the more WhatsApp groups you can be in,
yeah.
they have a big impact.
Mm.
I would definitely suggest like using something like okay, where you can create a link for every type of marketing thing you do, and
Hmm.
then use that particular link, and then you can actually track like where people are actually coming from.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay,
Yeah, send that to me when you
like
once
this one
I'm
here.
sorted.
See, Rebrandly, for example. This is called Rebrandly. Cost me like, I think it's about £10 a month or something like that. But basically, I do a link for every single Facebook ad
Oh, interesting.
and for my emails.
Yeah.
And yeah, and for example, sharing. You could get like really detailed about this,
Mm.
but it really helps in terms of getting really clear on where your main efforts are making a difference. Because this is the biggest thing. Is like, one is like doing something,
Yeah.
then two is actually getting the feedback. There's always this balance. You need to be doing something and then getting feedback about what is working, so you can do more of the stuff that works next time and less of the stuff that's not working.
Yeah.
If you know one thing is working, you could really like focus on that, really
Yeah.
do some amazing stuff. Like I
Totally.
found, for example, that like you just notice things when you're going about your stuff. You know what is actually working and what's not.
Yeah.
For example, like I notice stuff that's working with other people. Like I noticed, for example, somebody, like, check this out, right? Like, you know, when you check out your feed on Instagram, like who's liked your stuff and things like that.
Yeah.
Like take a look at this, right? Like what do you notice about this notification feed?
That it's a spam.
What you notice is that this guy, this DJ Alpha
Yeah.
Production, has
Yeah.
liked a lot of photos, right?
Yeah.
Because if he came to my feed, like you go to your home feed and you're scrolling through and you see this like really nice like thing and you like it,
Hmm.
your like sort of gets lost in like a whole lot of other people's likes, right? On that person's thing. But
Mm.
if you really want to get noticed by somebody, you just like every single photo on their thing. You just go through the whole Instagram feed,
That's
and
classic.
then you cannot, like, that person, like I cannot not notice this guy, right?
Okay,
And
Alpha One.
so
Fine.
what's the next stage? The next stage. So now you've created some
Well,
sort of connection,
is
and
this a dating
this,
thing?
yeah,
Oh,
and this in terms of marketing is called know, like, and trust. So we're
no trust. Wow. Okay.
so you know. So first of all is the know. So what you're doing is, um, you know, you're creating this process called know, like, and trust. Know is just somebody noticing your stuff,
Yeah.
like noticing your name, noticing your release. Like they've never seen your stuff before. The know part, know, like, and trust. The
Well,
know part is just noticing your stuff. Like they see your stuff. And
yeah.
generally somebody has to see your stuff like 12 times before they actually get anything, like get any, like actually register that you're a thing, right?
Yeah.
But that's why, you know, you can't just post on your Instagram once
Mm.
and expect there to get any results. You can't post on your Facebook once and expect to get any results. You
Yeah.
can't post an email or send an email and expect to get like a result. It's the multiple posting on a regular, consistent basis
Mm.
that makes that difference, because now you're actually getting into the person's consciousness. And it's
Yeah.
true. Like when I see like one post about a release, it doesn't really register for me until I've seen it like 5 times. Notice how you interact with your own social media.
Yeah.
And that's why the consistency is really good. So you know, so know, like, and trust, you've got no part, you've been noticed. Like is when you actually like take that step to actually make that connection. And that's like liking, like if somebody like likes your post, right? Okay, so you've actually posted something and they've liked it,
Mm.
you know, you've, with that particular person, you've crossed the like stage. Okay,
Yeah.
they've noticed your things, they know. they've noticed enough so that they like it. So you've made that connection.
Yeah.
And then the next part is the trust part. The trust part is where you go to the next stage of the relationship, where you're actually making that actual relationship. That's why it's like super important when you, for example, when you do videos and people make, or even on a Facebook thing, and people make comments on a video, that you do, return the comments. Super, super, super important, right? So that's why, a lot of people like lose out on that, going to the next stage of the connection, because that's how you transition people, from like just somebody who knows you, because you're always trying to cycle your fans through this process of know, like, and trust. So you're trying to get them to the trust part where you've made that connection, and then there's more, they're much, you don't have to do that again. So you don't, once you've got to that trust part, you don't have to do the know, like, and trust thing, or the know and the like thing. You've already got to that part. And that's the part where somebody will actually, take an action, which is, follow you, or, listen to your thing on SoundCloud. It's at that trust, when you're in the relationship of trust with that person. So yeah, I just noticed this, like, this person just like, and I've seen this with somebody else who's liked loads of posts. So now I've noticed him. Liking would be like, and then this person's already got like some type of intro with me, because I've already recognized his thing, because it, I've seen his name like 20 times. And then he could like, the next process is he could actually send me a message. Okay. And that's sort of transitioning somebody to the trust part of the relationship. And that's how you build up those personal connections. Because, the thing about social media, it's very easy to get lost in that you're just doing something. But if you come to it from the aspect of what you're actually doing is networking, and instead of having to go to the party physically, you're now in a party with other people, and you're actually speaking to them, you're actually connecting to them. So it's like really, really try and come to it from an aspect of, making those personal connections. You are actually connecting with human beings. So everything you do has that possibility. So
how much resistance I just don't want to spend any more time than I already am.
yeah, I know. So, and that's why it's good to
Also
have
doing that is like, oh my God.
Yeah, but that's why you've got to come to this whole thing. And that's, if you're finding resistance to the whole social media thing, it's just because you're coming possibly from a belief system, or and like a viewpoint that it's not what it is.
Or it's just like I'm trying to boundary the amount of screen time that I have.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So that's why it's really good to have your boundaries, right? You do your 30 minutes. Yeah, do your 30 minutes, and this is what my 30 minutes is for my business, and I'm going to do it, and I'm committed to doing it. And then the rest of the time I'm free. If I do it, it's great. If I don't, I don't. But you get really disciplined about that 30 minutes, or however much time because if you just leave it open and then you go days without doing it, that's one thing. And then there's no consistency. Or you do it sporadically, and then you feel like guilty because you haven't done it, or then you feel like, hooked on it because you feel like you have to do it and you need to do more. It's really good to have that thing. But this person, for example, if they message me, even if it was like a direct message out of the blue, like, I'm more likely to accept his message, rather than feeling it as spam. So I'm going to recognize the name, and somehow, like, in my consciousness, I'm going to, even though I don't know where it's from, but like, if tomorrow, the day after, he messages me now, direct messages me, I'm going to like recognize it.
Gotcha.
So it's I think it's really interesting. Like, you could go, like, find people that, do a search, for example, on your Instagram. You could do a search for, like, what's your niche? It's sort of try and get a hash. I get a hash on this keyboard. But you just search for your niche, yeah. So you could say medicine music, for example, and then in this medicine music, or the other way is really cool as well, is to find somebody, yeah, like somebody who's doing really well in your niche, like this niche here. So these are the type of people that you know are being active. And so you could start exploring like these type of people. Is this the type of person that I'd want to have as a fan? You know, and you can go through here, like you can find this guy and you can really start connecting with him. You can connect with him. Like, this is awesome. This is awesome. This is awesome. This is awesome. Then you can follow him as well. And then even better, you can actually like comment on his thing. Like I can comment in Spanish, but you know, you can comment on the thing,
Yeah.
creating that personal connection. That person's definitely going to notice you. And you're going to start creating that relationship. So that when, for example, you do your release, you know, you've already connected with that person on a personal basis.
Yeah.
You've you know, sent him a message, and you know, you've just commented on one of his things, like, I really like your song, thank you so much, you know, just like that opening sort of introduction.
Yeah.
And then so you take it away from this like social media sort of thing into like, now all I'm doing like in my time in social media, I'm like posting some stuff, but I'm also spending some time making personal connections.
Yeah.
Like each day, if you're making, like, say you're taking your half an hour, 10 minutes of your half an hour, you're posting your stuff. 10 minutes of the time, you're answering messages, you know, liking other people's stuff.
Yeah.
And 10 minutes of the time, you're connecting with new people. You're finding new fans, people that would be interested in your music.
Yeah.
And you're making more personal connections. So say you have a plan to do 10 people a day, you know, over the course of a month, that's like, you know, 300 people. And that's just going to expand over the course of, you know, a year. That's 3,000 people, 4,000 people. You know, and it's not hard to do like 10 people a day.
Sure. Sure.
So,
Yeah.
and then you're making, and it's like more about the quality of the connections rather than, you know, just having loads of like followers on Instagram. And especially the people that are actually, you know, commenting on your stuff and liking your posts. I think that's, you know, those are really, really powerful to connect, to make personal connections with them, you know. So people that are liking your stuff, for example, here, you know, all these here, you can definitely like them and replies on these, like especially the bigger ones, you know. If somebody says, wow, send pic on whatever, you know, you can really make you know, like them, make those personal connections and put some effort into that.
I
Cool.
find it's really interesting. I find that the more professional a post is, the less likes it gets.
Yeah,
So like
yeah,
just like this doesn't surprise me that it only has 54 likes. It doesn't have like a huge traction behind it. But you know, like something that's more
like this
vulnerable.
one, yeah.
Yeah, it's more kind of raw, yeah, those always
It's
get.
more personal, isn't it? So
Yeah.
yeah, you always got to mix up your posts, but because if you put too much of this as well, then that's
Yeah.
not going to work either, right?
Yeah.
That's why you need, like, you know, you have mixture of videos, mixture of those type of posts, mixture of those type of posts. You could also put, like, I would say, put some memes in here as well. There's definitely space for some memes.
What is a meme?
Like a meme is this here.
Oh,
Yeah, you can mix it up with some of those as well.
yeah.
Did you see that reposter app that I found?
Oh yeah, I saw the email, but I didn't check it out.
So good. Oh my God. It's so good. If you're
I have like a post-it note wall of things like to explore.
Yeah, if you've ever found stuff that, or if you're finding it hard to find stuff to post,
Yeah.
it's an amazing way of
Oh,
finding additional content. And easily, like, you can just go on using reposter every day, just 5 minutes of reposting other people's really cool stuff.
aren't these guys on the course with us, Silka?
Yeah, these guys are amazing.
Yeah, like three little hotties. I
I
know.
know.
Hottie dancer. It's like hotties.com.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, let me just see. I had some other questions as
Any
well.
questions before we wrap up?
Yeah. So, what's been your biggest success so far this year?
I think the piece around getting signed to all the various different places.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, signed to the management, signed to the booking agency, working with Mark. Yeah, I'd say that's the biggest success.
And what's not working? What hasn't worked as well?
What hasn't worked as well? Um,
You say those things, huh?
good question. I mean, what hasn't worked as well?
Pre-save links, huh?
Yeah, the pre-save link part. I think it's just. I think there's a point where I feel like I've reached the skin, and it's kind of like, okay, it's time to kind of move through that layer into the next bigger container, and
Yeah.
it's like, how do we do that? And I'm kind of wondering, whether that's going to happen now because of Hev and Neil and some of the, I'm playing at Community Russell Brand's Festival and Enchanted and kind of spaces where networking wise, I feel like it's a really good position and window. But what hasn't worked so well? Yeah, I don't feel like I've pierced, like I'm not getting the reach that I feel these tracks deserve yet.
Mm, mm.
And I feel part of that is just literally kind of placement, it just getting seen. It's just someone championing it, and maybe that's going to be Mark, or maybe that's going to be. But it's just that thing of like when someone champions something, and then it gets that opportunity, a bit like Elton championing that the kid from America to come up onto Pyramid stage and play his song. I mean, that's championing,
And what is really working at the moment for you in terms of the releases?
Just constant kind of growth, constant connection of growth across all the different platforms. I think I don't know, it just comes back to having this community now supporting me, this kind of coterie that feels like that's fucking awesome. Oh, I'm not supposed to swear, am
Naughty.
I? Trying really hard for 45 minutes to not
Fucking
swear.
hell.
Sorry. Fuck. Yeah, a really hard question to answer that. Beyond.
Okay, so do you have any questions? Can I help you with anything?
I think if you have anyone that you feel might want to make some music videos, get involved in, I really feel like that is needed. Some beautiful videos, a beautiful video. I'm going to need a tour manager. You want to come and be a tour manager? Awesome.
What does the tour manager do? What's the job description?
Tour manager, driving, setup, roadieing.
And when are you starting? November.
November. What can you help me with? What can you help me with?
What can anybody help you with? How can I support you?
I mean, if there's people watching this now, then it's how can you support me? It's listening to what the tracks, listening to I'm Enough, listening to the Gayatri Mantra, listening to Be Free. And if you moved by it, if you're touched by it, then share it with a friend, share it with someone that you care deeply about, share it, and know that in sharing it, you are really supporting this music going out into the world, and it's through your support that happens. That's how independent artists grow, you know? So know
Cool.
that.
So people can share it. And where can people find you? Like what I suggest, I'd also like what I saw here. Let me just show you quickly. On your Instagram,
Yeah,
I would really focus on the track now.
yeah,
On your feature, I would make this the like for tomorrow for your release.
yeah.
I would make this, listen to the track. I'd have change all this to be, yeah. I'm sure you're going to do that anyway, but like tomorrow is a big day. What's your big plans for tomorrow for the single to get it out there to as many people as possible?
Oh God. Okay, what are my plans for tomorrow? To do a live. I'll do a bit of a live today at the event later on this evening.
Right.
I've got lots of little clips of footage that are ready to go. There's a mail out that's supposed to happen, which I haven't quite organised yet. It's got on my list of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Lot to do.
Yeah, a lot to do. Yeah, want a job?
Well, I'm going to send it out to my mailing list.
I'll
But
tell you.
tomorrow's the big day, right? Tomorrow's where you're gonna. What's your plan? Are you gonna post it on your Facebook, post it on your Instagram?
Across all the platforms, yes.
Yeah, you're gonna direct message people. You're gonna
Yeah.
do some Facebook lives. You're gonna do some Instagram lives.
Yes, I am. I'm writing this down.
Yeah. You're gonna email your mailing list twice.
Yes, I'm gonna do that.
I think I think you've got it all covered. And then I think like the day after, you should really be doing like videos.
Yeah.
Like if you want to, have you seen the video? Have you made any videos for this track?
Yeah. Yeah, but they're just like there's lyric videos and then there's little live clips. And when you messaged me, was it yesterday, saying would I do this? And I was trying to collate all the different footage. I tell you what you could do for me. Do you want to put together all the different footage and create a beautiful music video that's going to be sent out next week? There you go. There's a job.
Yeah. So if you've got some footage, of you, I can do a quick video for you. It's no problem. It's like it takes 10 minutes really.
No.
Well, not 10 minutes, but I just need footage and I need a theme. So the theme is Be Free.
Yeah.
But like if I'm going to, because most of the stuff I'll get from stock footage anyway.
No, most of the footage, I've got footage. I've got footage from all the different live shows.
Okay, cool.
I just need.
But I'm not going to sync up the track. I'm just going to be like the song with footage of you playing in the background.
Exactly.
And then we can do a really nice video. Yeah.
Okay, that would be amazing.
Yeah, really cool. We can make it. The good thing. So I've got the software. Like I don't know. It's all about software these days. It's like what apps have you got? What software have you got? But yeah, I can't even remember it now. But it literally makes a video in super quick. I just upload the videos. It does all the cutting. Upload the image, the audio. Syncs everything up. Download it. Renders it. Bang! Half an hour. Music video done.
So I can scamper around in the woods.
and then actually, like I'll send you this other software as well, which is yeah, like it's called InVideo. It's like it's so cool. So that's great for creating shorts. So send me the video, send me the video footage, send me the audio, and send me and I've got the lyrics.
Yeah.
I'll do some shorts as well.
Awesome.
Shorts out. I like do like shorts, like 30-second shorts. You can put on your Instagram and all that stuff.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, seriously, it's just like that.
You're fucking awesome.
Cool, darling.
I can swear all I like now. We've done an hour.
Yeah, but really, like videos are really important. Like we really got to get videos out there. Videos of you playing. you know, any type of video you've got, like any type of video is always so important because everything's about visual these days, and shorts are where it's at. Like the more shorts you're doing now, the better. But anyway, let me do some shorts for you. Let me do this video.
Mhm.
If you'll have something more current up on your YouTube. YouTube really needs something like every week, and some shorts. And let's monitor it.
Okay.
Okay. And let's
Mhm.
monitor the results.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
And what I can do as well for the shorts and for the video, like make sure in your description you've got the link to the track,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
Let's create a rebrandly link for that thing, and then let's monitor
Okay.
the amount of traction you get from it. Because the other thing to do with videos is when you, especially on TikTok and stuff like that, is you pin the link to your track at the top of the first comment.
Mm.
So it's always there. And so anybody listening to the video goes to the comments, wants to make a comment, sees the pin, clicks on the pin, and goes straight to your Spotify. So that's another way to drive traffic to your track. Anyway, it's been lovely speaking to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Welcome. Thank you for
And I'm
asking.
sure you're a busy girl. How's the bookings for tonight going?
Yeah, it's good. I think we're on 40, which is great. So we've got capacity of 50.
Wow. So you've got a ecstatic dance, you're doing a gig, you're doing a concert. And you got 40 people.
Yeah, so no, it's in this beautiful river valley, and Sophs and I are weaving together. I'm beginning with some qigong, and then we go into Soph's DJ set. I'll sing live over some of the tracks, and then close with a sonic spa sound bar.
Cool. Where's the
Uh,
best place for people to find out all your information? Is it like your link tree? Your link tree is good.
yeah, the link tree is pretty. I've got pretty much everything on there. If you scroll
Yeah.
down, you'll see retreats, you'll see workshops, you'll see releases.
Yeah, so Tallulah Rendall on Linktree.
Yeah.
It's great. I love your Linktree. It looks really cool. But
Thank
so
you.
far, I think you've done a really good job of like, you know, communicating this release.
Thank
I think
you.
it's fantastic.
Thanks.
You know,
Well, thank you.
you're following the system. Well done. 10
I'm like,
good students.
"Come on, people."
Top students. You passed.
God. Okay. All right, thank
Okay,
you.
nice speaking to you, love, and look forward to hearing from you. Send us that video footage,
Yeah,
and,
I'll send it to you.
I'll
Yeah.
put a couple of videos your way.
Thanks, love.
Okay, gorgeous.
Bye, hun. Bye.
Ciao, bye.